Coming up on First at 4, House Republicans just delivered articles of impeachment to the Senate against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. A look at what could happen next. Plus, a local choir shares what it was like to sing in our nation's capital.
Plus, we are tracking some more showers and storms by tomorrow. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. Thanks for joining us today on HNI and WYMT.com. First at 4, the Supreme Court heard 90 minutes of arguments today that could impact hundreds of defendants in the attack on the U.S. Capitol, and even a case against former President Trump. CBS's Christian Benavidez explains.
The U.S. Supreme Court is considering whether federal prosecutors correctly charged more than 350 people at the January 6th Capitol riot with felony obstruction of an official proceeding. That includes former Harrisburg, Pennsylvania police officer Joseph Fisher, who petitioned the High Court. His lawyer argued the government is using the obstruction statute as a dragnet.
Until the January 6th prosecutions, Section 1512C2, the otherwise provision, had never been used to prosecute anything other than evidence tampering.
The U.S. Solicitor General told the court there's no question Fisher and other defendants obstructed the process to count electoral votes.
Yes, he obstructed that official proceeding. The terms of the statute unambiguously encompass his conduct.
Justices probed the scope of the statute and if it could be used to criminalize other types of conduct.
Would a sit-in that disrupts a trial or access to a federal courthouse qualify? Would a heckler in today's audience qualify, or at the State of the Union address? Would pulling a fire alarm before a vote qualify for 20 years in federal prison?
More than 100 January 6th rioters were convicted under this law. If the court sides with Fisher, it could lead to new trials or lighter sentences. Former President Donald Trump faces the same obstruction charge in special counsel Jack Smith's upcoming election subversion case. Christian Benavidez, CBS News, Washington.
The Senate finally received the House's articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas today. In February, House Republicans impeached Mayorkas for what they say is his mismanagement of the U.S. southern border. The impeachment charges were sent to the Senate just a short time ago. The Constitution says the Senate must immediately consider all impeachments. It would take 2/3 or 67 senators to convict and remove Mayorkas from his position, but Democrats who control the chamber will likely acquit him.
We are tracking some more warm weather on this Tuesday. Also a few showers and storms at this hour. Up on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, not a widespread stormy day, but we are tracking a few heavier downpours, mainly close to the Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia borders. Zooming into Mingo, also Logan counties, a heavier shower not too far away from the Gilbert area on US 52. Also a few more light to moderate showers pushing into parts of Logan County, West Virginia at this hour. The big story today, once again, we are warm, up to 86 in Breathitt County, also for Rowan County over at Moorhead, 82 for Pikeville, 84 over in Somerset at this hour. A live look from Perry County, and we see plenty of blue sky back in the distance. That current temperature in the lower 80s. We should be close to 70, so we are well above average once again on this Tuesday. Some more warm weather is on the way as we go into this evening. A small chance of a passing shower or maybe a thunderstorm as we go into this evening, but higher rain or storm chances are on the way by Wednesday. Some of those could also pack a punch with heavy rain, strong straight line winds, and possibly some small hail. More details on that Wednesday forecast, plus a cooler weekend coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. More potential jurors have been dismissed from Donald Trump's hush money case, but at least 6 jurors, we understand, are now seated. Lawyers worked for a second day to find a panel of New Yorkers to decide whether Trump will become the first former president convicted of a crime. Yesterday, the first batch of 96 prospective jurors were questioned, with more than half excused after saying they could not be fair and impartial. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says both sides need to look out for so-called stealth jurors.
The juror who answers everything perfectly because he or she wants to be on that jury and vote the way that he or she does not appear that they will vote.
Trump is accused of scheming to funnel payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels through his former lawyer Michael Cohen to cover up an alleged affair when he was running for president in 2016. Both of them could be potential witnesses at the trial. We'll have more from today's court proceedings ahead at 5:30. Lawmakers have approved funding going toward several projects in Laurel County. Millions of dollars will go to roadway development in the area. Lawmakers included plans to widen sections of Interstate 75 and the Hal Rogers Parkway. Senator Brandon Storm led the movement for Laurel County to receive the funding. Storm said, quote, "The significance of the state's inclusion of $450 million from the Budget Reserve Trust Fund for the road plan cannot be understated. It will go a long way in making critical road, bridge, and highway upgrades possible throughout the Commonwealth," end quote. We'll take a closer look at how the funding will be used tonight at 6. Clay County High School choir students are sharing their voices behind the state line, recently making a trip to Washington, D.C. during their spring break to perform several concerts. They had the opportunity to perform for roughly 80 veterans at a retirement home and sing on the steps of the Thomas Jefferson Memorial in front of the public. Senior Bryce Madden says it was an experience he will never forget.
It was incredibly honoring too, to get to go up there. No choir, at least as far as I know, no choir from at least Clay County had ever done anything like that. We got invited to go up there, and I mean, to get to see the culmination of all our hard work and all of our fundraising, I mean, it was very rewarding, and honestly, it was very humbling too.
The students were also given the opportunity to lay a wreath at the World War II Memorial for Kentucky while singing "My Old Kentucky Home." Coming up on First at 4, the Olympic torch has been lit ahead of the 2024 Paris Games. A look at the ancient tradition and the Flames' journey to France before the opening ceremony.
Plus, we stay warm for now, but a cooler weekend is ahead. Your forecast coming up.